There's still many rumors and unverified information floating around on the internet about the Idaho murders case. Some users fervently believe in theories with limited information and combine pure speculation with unproven and inaccurate evidence. Some people have speculated that the jogger seen on video surveillance in the Katie Janis Piedmont Park murder case from July 2021 was Bryan Kohberger.
Tonight, the Atlanta Police Department releasing new pictures of a potential witness to last week's murder in Piedmont Park.
The jogger's identity is known amongst people who took interest in the Piedmont Park case, and he is not Bryan Kohberger. At 1:51 p.m. on December 15, 2022, Bryan Kohberger and his father were pulled over by police in Hancock County near Indianapolis in Indiana. Bryan mentioned hearing about the shooting, which occurred in Pullman, Washington, 30 hours away in the evening the day prior from where Bryan was pulled over.
In this December 15th dashcam video provided to 13 News by the Hancock County Sheriff's Department.
Hello, how you doing? How y'all doing today?
A deputy pulls over Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 Idaho college students. Kohberger's father in the passenger seat. The deputy asks for his driver's license.
He was right up on the back end of that van, pulled you over for tailgating.
Kohberger's father tells the deputy they're driving from Washington State, where Kohberger was a grad student. In a conversation, he mentioned it was the scene of a shooting.
And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where? Interesting.
Wow, it's horrifying.
Authorities said the shooting is not connected to the stabbing where Kohberger is a suspect, but the two crimes happened just miles apart. WSU is about a 9-minute drive to the University of Idaho. The 4 University of Idaho students were killed in a home near campus on November 13th. The shooting at WSU, December 14th. Kohberger was pulled over on December 15th in Hancock County.
Interesting. Wow.
The deputy gives him a warning.
So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay? All right, thank you. Appreciate you.
Hands back his license. Kohberger and his father are free to go.
On the evening of December 14, 2022, a Washington man triggered a response from the authorities and SWAT team at an apartment complex in Pullman, Washington on the 1000 block of Southeast Lotta Street near the Washington State University campus. The Washington man was threatening to kill his roommates and allegedly barricaded himself inside his apartment after police tried to speak with him. As crisis negotiators tried to make contact, he began firing from his apartment. After unsuccessful negotiations, escalating behavior and continued danger to the public, he was fatally shot by a SWAT officer. The Pullman, Washington man fatally shot by the SWAT officer was 36-year-old Brent Lee Kopacka, a U.S. Army veteran who suffered a traumatic brain injury sustained in combat in Afghanistan, which led to a 16-year ongoing battle with severe PTSD.
In Pullman, WSU has released the name of the officer who shot and killed a man threatening to kill his 2 roommates earlier this month. The school says Police Sergeant Bray Boyd killed a 36-year-old named Brent Kopacka in an off-campus apartment. Boyd is currently on administrative leave, which is standard procedure following the use of deadly force. Kopacka was a veteran who suffered a traumatic brain injury in Afghanistan and had severe PTSD, according to his family.
I don't think there's any proof Brent Kopacka and Bryan Kohberger knew each other and worked together. Or that Brent framed Bryan Kohberger by planting a knife sheath with Bryan's DNA on the button of the sheath. I don't believe Brent has anything to do with the Idaho student murders simply due to crime scene forensics and the police claiming they don't believe anyone else is involved in the crime. I don't think Bryan Kohberger was concerned about Brent, as he was already traveling across country and seemed to have been in a different state multiple hours away when Brent was fatally shot. I think Brent may not have been in the right frame of mind due to his mental illness, and I think he'd have left his DNA near or at the crime scene. I think coincidences happen and are more common in murder cases than many might assume. The surviving housemate is getting a lot of hate online and has been questioned over why she did not call the police until 8 hours after the 4 victims were murdered. I think she may have just been scared, and if she was in cahoots with Brian, then why did she give a description of the man she saw claiming had bushy eyebrows? Why give a description at all of an intruder if you were working with him? Also, the police would have already charged her with accessory if there was any indication of Dylan knowing Brian and that they worked together. Ultimately, I don't think she needs to give an explanation to sleuthers online, and only to the families through the proper legal process abiding to the rules set in place. I think most of the time sleuthers online have a higher percentage of being more wrong than right, and that's including ex-law enforcement going on to news media outlets with their assumptions and theories based on limited breadcrumb information. It's been speculated that Bryan Kohberger may have killed before, and investigators are looking back to unsolved murders to see if he has. I personally am not convinced he's killed anyone, at least not a human, before November 13, 2022, and there doesn't seem to be a link forensically to the Travis Jutin and Sandra Ladd murders that the public know of.
The man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students lived in the Northwest for only a few months. He spent most of his years on the East Coast.
So that's where Chris Ingalls from our sister station in Seattle went. He uncovered new information about how police and prosecutors in Pennsylvania are responding to the case.
We're in eastern Pennsylvania. Bryan Kohberger spent his teenage years and most of his adult life here. That includes stints at 2 local colleges, including DeSales. Now police and prosecutors in this area want to know what he was up to all those years and are digging into their cold case files. Just outside the open wilderness and resort towns of the Pocono Mountains lies a neighborhood called the Birches.
It's just a very quiet community.
These are the streets an accused killer once roamed as a teenager.
I've definitely seen it on TV. Who hasn't?
Now, Lynn Klein and others in the Pennsylvania communities where Bryan Kohberger lived until last year want to know if he could have committed any crimes before he was charged with the murders at the University of Idaho.
Because anybody or any family that's been harmed or done wrong to deserves to know the truth.
It isn't just citizens. Police and prosecutors have asked the same question.
Your natural reaction is to start wondering, okay, is this guy wanted? Is his name out there? Did he do anything here in Northampton County? Terry Houck.
Terrence Houck is district attorney of Northampton County and leads an office of more than 20 prosecutors and a half dozen detectives. It's here at Northampton Community College where Bryan Kohberger took his first courses in higher education, graduating here in 2018. After Kohberger's arrest for the Idaho murders, Northampton County's district attorney ordered a review of unsolved cases in his county.
We have a crime information center that compiles information of people's description, size, weight, height, method of operation, things of that nature.
Obviously, you wonder whether or not there was any criminality that he committed here in Lehigh County or in the environs.
Jim Martin, district attorney of the neighboring county, Lehigh, also ordered a review of unsolved cases. Lehigh County is home to DeSales University, which Kohberger attended after Northampton Community College. He spent 4 years here studying criminal justice.
Bryan Kohberger.
Earning a master's degree last summer. What does law enforcement do, given that he did spend time here?
Well, we have a resource here called the Regional Intelligence and Investigation Center. It's the first thing I did was I asked the director of the RIC, as we call it, to see if we had any contact with Mr. Kohberger.
A data search of more than 6 million police incident reports in Pennsylvania turned up only one record with Kohberger's name. He called police from this bike trail one night to report that his car was locked behind a park gate.
There was a response from him thanking the police and apologizing for the inconvenience.
The district attorney in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, where Kohberger grew up and where a SWAT team arrested him on December 30th, did not respond to our questions. But in Northampton and Lehigh counties, both district attorneys say their investigations have found no links to Kohberger and any unsolved cases.
So we have no unsolved homicides that in any way meet the modus operandi of this event out in Idaho.
There was nothing been brought to my attention. In fact, nothing with respect to Kohberger has come about in our investigations of cold cases or unsolved cases to this point.
And that should be some relief to a community that's been stunned and saddened by the murders of 4 college students 2,500 miles away.
It's a little close to home. You just don't expect it.
So prosecutors say the bottom line is there's no evidence that Kohberger committed any crimes here in Pennsylvania. In Center Valley, Pennsylvania, Chris Ingalls, King 5 News.
And King 5 was unable to reach the Kohberger family for comment for this story, but the lawyer who represented Kohberger only during the extradition process in Pennsylvania did say Kohberger looks forward to being exonerated in Idaho.
Tonight on the news at 10, Chris Ingalls talks to one of Kohberger's former college classmates about an upsetting experience he had with the accused killer.